This is how you make a homemade topwater from scratch. To start, you'll get 1/2-inch dowel rod and put it in a vise. Make sure it's tight and it doesn't move. Grab a tape measure and measure off 3 to 4 inches. Depending on how long you want your lure is where you'll mark it with a pencil. Then grab your saw and just cut right through it, trying to make it as parallel to the other side as possible. Grab the dowel rod you just cut off, grab some sandpaper, and just smooth out the edges, making sure there's no rough edges or just flakes just from the sawing. Put it back in the vise, make sure it's secure. Then just grab a pencil, mark the middle of the top, and then grab something pointy like a screwdriver, kind of hammer it in, just make a little indent in the top of the lure. Then you grab your saw with a 1/2-inch drill bit and stick it in that little divot and just kind of drill in there, barely, just to make a little indent, a big indent for your plopping action. Then get a belt sander and just taper the edges, making them just smooth, and kind of taper it like a shad. Just make it kind of roundish at the end. Kind of make it square at the tip. Then you can sand it off with sandpaper later. Then grab your sandpaper and sand it, making those edges more roundish, making the lure more, making it look like a frog. That's what we're going into. That's the end result here. So then put it back in the vise and grab your pencil and draw a line straight through the top of your lure, whatever side you want that to be. Grab your saw and just start cutting through that on your line, cutting about halfway down your lure. Make sure not to go any more than halfway, otherwise your lure can easily just snap in half. So the next part, put it back in the vise and grab a 7/64 drill bit and just about an inch from the tip of the lure, you're going to drill all the way through. Then grab your knife and just kind of chip out all the extra little flakes in there. Then get some wire, probably like 30 gauge is fine, and cut off probably like 8 to 10 inches, just to make sure you don't have, that way you have some excess just in case. And this is the hardest part. You need to just figure out how to make your wire fit into your lure. So first I'm starting with the tip of the lure that you tie your knots to. Just kind of curve your wire off into just a little like it's shown. You're gonna have to do a lot of trial and error, like fitting it back in your lure, like marking where you need to bend the wire and stuff, just to make sure it fits. So there I'm marking it. Got my pliers and just do a nice 90 or 45 degree angle, and then do another one right there. And just pinch it really tightly so it can fit in that drill bit, that drill hole you made. And then bend the part that's sticking up back flat to with the rest of the wire. So go in and try and make sure that fits. You might have to use a screwdriver to get it to fit in there. This is just pretty tricky. It might take several times to get this right, but it's worth it. There's your little, where you can tie your first bottom hook. And then for the back of the lure, you're just going to make another 90 degree angle and kind of pinch it off. And then kind of make sure it fits in the lure and nothing's sticking out of that hole you sawed. So the next part, I grab just like some paper. You fold it in half so it doesn't seep you're gonna grab some tape. Tape up the ends so your paper doesn't move while you're using your paper. Make sure your paper's flat so it don't have any bubbles and it's just easier to work with. So then you're gonna grab some epoxy, whatever type works, and then you're gonna squeeze out just a bit. You really don't need too much. And grab some type of tool. just to mix it up like the one I have shown. Mix it up, make sure there's no like lumps or any bubbles really. You're just gonna grab a little bit of the glue, scoop it up, and just put it in the lure. Kind of squish it down in those cracks. Make sure the wire doesn't come out when your fish bites it. And you really can't put too much because the glue will seep down in the cut piece. So yeah, and it's kind of messy, but you can clean it up after it dries because it just kind of chips off. So and I just set it back in the vise just to make sure it's level and it doesn't drip or anything. Now it's time to paint your lure. So I just grabbed some green chartreuse and just make sure to shake up well and just spray your lure all around and on the top. I do that probably 3 coats. Make sure to let it dry. Then pop the spray nozzle off your can of paint for the green. You're gonna grab some pliers and press in while you're spraying and go up and down in a quick motion to get a nice texture. Then add hooks and eyes, and you're done. You have a nice topwater to use. Hopefully this will catch you some nice bass. It kind of mimics a frog with the colors and the action, so. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you next time.